Okay, it says we are live.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. Oh, we don't have nobody just yet, but they're coming. They're coming. Uh-oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, I got it on. I got it right. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I could say that today because this was my first week back to work. And Lord Jesus, I've been in front of this screen since 9 o'clock this morning
Oh, your
from one meeting.
e-learning.
Yes, but we are 3 weeks of pre planning so that we are
Mm,
ready. We're not being, we went on the pandemic and we were proactive, no,
mm.
reactive. Right now, we're being proactive. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. I want y'all to know. I hope y'all got y'all wine tonight because we definitely need it. I got my Stella Rosa tonight. I'm ready. I am good to go because I told Millie I needed it for this conversation tonight. I need to be on get it together tonight. So I see. Anyway, y'all go ahead and speak. Hey, Monique. Monique is in the house.
Hi,
I love
Monique.
Monique. She's always here. And that is Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon.
All right, ladies, we're going to jump right into it. I hope everybody has had a great week, and we're going to jump right on into this. So, if Millie don't know, you are my fourth guest, I think, fourth or fifth guest, I think. And I am loving doing these little chats on Friday evening on the books that I love to read. I ain't had nobody recommend no books to me. These are just I'm just setting it up for the books that I have read that I want to talk about.
I'm
Why? Because I could
flattered.
because I could do that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, hey Mia from Bermuda, how you doing? And Velda, hey
Bermuda.
Velda. You should be getting your package in the mail. Let me side note. You should be getting your package in the mail real soon. Anyway, so I'm gonna jump right on into this. No, you know what I'm gonna do? For those of you who don't know, this is Miss Millie. Um, and I don't know how I hooked up with it. I don't know if Jamaica hooked me up to your book or if I just saw it on the Collide series and I loved
The
it.
first.
And the very first series. And if anybody who has been following Indie Love or attends any Indie Love, I always, if I find a new author and I'm loving them, and I'm like, we need to get you at Indie Love so that people can get to know you and see you and all that kind of stuff. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, Millie tried to back out at first. She was
I
like,
did. I was
I
like,
don't
I'm
think I'm
not.
ready. And I read her little email and I was like, she
I was
coming.
peer pressured. I was peer pressured.
She was. I sure did. Think I didn't? I sure did. I was like, no, this is how people are going to get to know you. So you got to
Right.
come. Don't count yourself out. I don't want to hear I only got one book. I got two books. It don't matter. You need to be, this is where you need to be so that you can build your fan base.
And I
And did you
appreciate
have a
you
good
for that.
time?
I had an amazing time.
See, I be knowing. I be knowing what I'm doing. Don't think I don't. I be knowing. So I have read everything Millie has put out, all of the books from the Collide series, even the was that considered like a novella, like the
It was like a
last one,
short, it was like a
like a
novelette.
short,
Hmm.
yeah. And then I don't want to call it Garden of Eden. Is that it? Is that the name of it?
That is the name.
Oh, bam. And so then I read the Garden of Eden. I love that one too. That was actually supposed to be a book club. Well, it was a book club book for my book club. Not the one we started now, y'all, but my sister friends book club. But then the pandemic, and it was never lifting, so we didn't get a chance to talk about it at all. But me and my girlfriends have talked about it, and so we loved it because she's from New Orleans, so she was really feeling that book.
I did my research on that one because I've never been.
Are you serious?
I've never been. I
Oh,
mean, I watch
y'all.
movies and documentaries. That one strong?
No, I just was trying to do too damn much too fast. So I've never been either. So going to New Orleans this year for Indie Love was like I was hyped. I was ready to go.
Mm,
I was ready to go. I ain't gonna talk about that because my heart to start hurting again
a
because we didn't get to
pandemic.
go. Right. Okay. So Millie, give us just tell us about the book just from your own words, and then I'm gonna jump in with my questions and my opinions on some things.
So Fast is a standalone, but it's like broken into three parts, well, three acts. And I always say acts and not parts because when you write things in like act form, each act has to have a beginning, middle, and end. And if you
Mm-hmm.
notice, Fast is written that way. Like you might feel like, oh, this could have been two books, or it could have been three if the first one was really, really short. But like it's separated into three acts, and we follow the main character, Caprice, as she kind of navigates her childhood, her trauma, love, young love, and then adulthood, and how she plans to give back. And that kind of is just like the history of Caprice in a way. And there is a love interest, Sean, who kind of is the one thing that is going right for her in the beginning and middle of her life. And then towards the end, I wanted to show Caprice as a complete person before they kind of came back. And that's kind of what happens. I hope everybody read it because I just spoiled it. But
Well,
right,
they had a whole week to get it down. So,
right.
for those of you who don't know, um, I bought the book as soon as it dropped, and I promoted it in the whole nine. And I don't know what I had read before that, but sometimes it's hard for me to go heavy, heavy, heavy with books. So I think I had read something heavy, and then I said, okay, I'm just gonna jump into fast. And as soon as she got to her grandmother's, and I could tell I was like, oh, Caprice is an intelligent little girl right off the bat. Right off the bat, she's a very intelligent 8-year old, and I
Hmm.
teach fourth grade, so I know they can be very intelligent. They're not like they are now, but then I had to think back. That was several years ago.
Right.
Okay, and if I got suspicious when it said that her mother, when Marcel said, "Do she got the AIDS too?" and I thought, "Oh hell, here we go." So I was
Right.
like, "Okay, all right, I'm gonna be able to rock with this." And then when he started bringing her chocolate, I was just like this. Okay, I can't right
He's
now.
grooming her. He's grooming her.
Right, I was like, I know it's getting ready to go down, and I can't right now. And you asked me, you was like, "Have you read it?" And I was like, "I got so far," and I had to stop. And you was like, "Once you get past chapter 5, you're gonna be all right." And I said, "Okay." So I'm reading. When I decided to go back to it, I get to chapter 5. I knew something was gonna happen. I didn't know it was gonna happen like that. Um, got to chapter 5, and I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna be smooth sailing. And I'm telling people this. Millie said, when you get past chapter 5, you're gonna be all right. I think I told Velda that, like in a text. I said, when Millie said, when you get past chapter 5, you're gonna be all right. And I get past 5, and I'm like, oh, Millie just set me up. She set me up, but I wasn't mad. I was not mad. I'm not gonna tell you that I wasn't mad. What I was mad at, I was mad at Gracie. Of course, Marcel, because I have my notes here. I was like, what did I say about Marcel? Hate, evil, crazy. Those are the words I put for Marcel. Hate. That means I hate him. He's evil and he's crazy. Yes, the book was very amazing. Very, very amazing.
Thank you,
Wait,
Monique.
so let me tell y'all. Y'all know I can't see worth a damn. So let me just go on and put them on. Oh yeah, I knew too. Like this dirty bastard. Yeah, those are my sentiments: hate, evil, and crazy. And so I kind of knew something. He was a little, and correct me if I'm wrong. I knew he had some issues from the way Caprice was describing him. That the way Gracie was talking to him, and from Jump Street, people don't realize that your words, you might not be physically abusing somebody, but you're verbally abusing somebody.
She
So
was
when she
emasculating
said,
him.
right, very much so, when she started off, do she look like she got AIDS? Stupid. And it's like, oh God. So there's a pattern already here within this family.
Hmm.
So then, oh God, I'm gonna tell you where I got mad. Even after he did what he did to her and Gracie found her, and I wrote it down when she said, "Did you let Marcel touch you?"
That actually was very pivotal. I don't know why I'm not speaking English properly, but that was very pivotal to me because I think a lot of times we don't watch the way that we ask children questions.
Right.
And so when she said, "Did you let him touch you?" instead of "Did he touch you?" It's kind of like she's 8 years old. She can't let nobody do anything to her.
Exactly. That was I.
So
I was like, okay, really, really.
yeah.
Right. So, and then you have to remember, I'm a teacher, so I'm a mandated reporter. So when I hear certain things, my hackles go up right away. And I was
Hmm.
like, and forget that we know that these are characters. To me, as I'm reading, it's like, no, this heifer didn't ask her that. She 8 years old. What you mean? Let her. What you mean?
Right.
And then my first thought too, even before, it's like, this little girl is in the bathroom taking a shower. Why are you even in here? Well, I already knew, but it was like, bruh, like, and she knew, poor thing. I was like, I could visually see her standing there shivering with her towel,
And
and
she was
he's
talking
just
fast and
talking fast. And then didn't he say something about why you walking around here teasing me?
hmm
I almost said a bad word, y'all. I almost said the N word. Like, dude, really?
But it evokes that. It really evokes that because Marcel was a piece of work. I mean, I wrote him, but he was a piece of work.
Right. I mean, yeah, I get that. I get that. So I will say this: that you took us on an emotional ride, and I always feel like it deserves 5 stars when you can evoke every emotion, when Arthur can evoke every emotion and touch a person's heart from characters that we know are not real, but we also know that people deal with this kind of stuff every single day. Children deal with these things every single day. So I truly, 5 stars, kudos, high five,
Thank you.
um, high five to you. So even after Gracie, asked this silly question, and then Caprice was just not eating and losing weight. And she took it to the doctor. I got mad with the doctor too. Because
Mm,
there's no, I mean, she's screaming because she's in a room with a man by herself. First of all, you're supposed to have a nurse in there with you. Why you didn't call a nurse? And you should see right from the jump that she's traumatized. If nothing else, why didn't you call um defects and just do a home visit? Just have them do a drop-in check-in. So I'm mad at him too. I'm so mad at him too because he didn't do his
I
due
think
diligence.
I think it
Go
speaks
ahead.
to how a lot of people in like neighborhoods where they are either because this was a free clinic, but like a lot of people who work
Exactly.
for nonprofits or who are tasked with being, the helping hand to people who are struggling, oftentimes get jaded. And I think that that's like one of the main ways I would describe that doctor. He was jaded. Like he'd seen probably so many cases like Caprice's before, and
Mm-hmm.
he was just kind of like, I know what's going on, but if this girl doesn't want to talk about it, I'm not going to go out of my way. And that's exactly what happened. Like, because when she left, I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get this quote right, but like she said, he was looking at me like he was sorry, even though he didn't do anything to me. And she's eight
Right.
years old, so she doesn't know what that look means. But that look was basically like, I feel sorry for you because I know.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. Right.
Oh, Monique said Gracie knows what happened. She tried her to talk her. That's absolutely what she did. That's absolutely Gracie
Mm-hmm.
knew. Gracie knew.
Gracie knew. And it makes you wonder if I know I'm jumping the gun. Later on, when we talk about when Sylvia says that, or I think it was Sylvia, it's mentioned that um, Caprice's mom left and never came back.
Hmm.
So it made me wonder if it happened to her, but I could not get a gauge on who was older and who was, if Marcel was older than Caprice's mom or younger.
He was younger.
He was younger. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, something happened to her for her to leave and go all the way to Alabama. Ain't
Well,
nobody going from Florida all the way to Alabama.
think about it. Like, think about the way that Gracie was talking to Marcel in the beginning of the book. It's like a pattern
Right.
of behavior. Gracie was never like, even though the way that she treated Caprice was unique to Caprice's situation, Gracie wasn't exactly the best parental figure all
Right.
around. So.
Right. True. Very, very true. Very true.
Mhm.
Um, I love Sean.
Me too.
But before we get to Sean, I'm gonna tell you everybody I was mad at first. So of course, I was mad at Gracie. I was mad at the doctor. And I even got mad at Miss Kelly. I was with my girls Saturday, and we were talking about it. And I said, I'm not finished yet, but I'm mad at Miss Kelly too because she could have said something and she didn't say nothing. And Mimi was just kind of was sitting there like, Mimi didn't really say anything back to me. I don't know if Mimi is in here or not tonight, but Mimi didn't. She did just kind of was like, in other words, it was like, keep reading, just keep reading. You're gonna be all right. Keep reading. So I'm gonna tell you, Miss Kelly redeemed herself because she explained being so young and I guess I didn't realize, or maybe I was reading too fast. I didn't realize that she was working. Of course, the camp was free, so how was she getting paid
Right.
working at the camp? Duh, Jocelyn, duh. So I get it. I got it later on when
Hmm.
she stepped in. You know, as in when she was in high school, she was her teacher at that point. She was young and didn't know how to deal with any of that.
Right.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
I don't think that Caprice at 8 years old explained how young Miss Kelly was because to Caprice, Miss Kelly was grown. Because eight
right,
years old, you can't tell the difference between 19 and 30. I mean,
right,
I couldn't. So
right,
like, it's not until she gets older and Miss Kelly actually says, "I was 19 at that time," that the
right. And I
reader
didn't know what to do.
realizes, right,
Yeah, Mimi. That's Mimi laughing because I was like, I was going off. I was sitting at that table. We went to lunch and we were outside, and I was just like, and I'm mad at. So I was just, and Mimi was just looking at me like, keep reading, you'll be all right, keep reading. So I was mad at all of those people. Those are all of the people that I was. Oh, and Princess, but we already know the Mean Girl Princess. So
Princess got
you know,
hers though.
I was so glad. I promise you, I was so glad.
It
I
was
was
so
really glad when she
satisfying.
got hers. It really was. It really, really was. But before I jump to that, because I'm gonna say something, people probably gonna be like, teachers shouldn't think like that. That is one of my questions, Monique. That I have that in my notes. How could how could the school not check on her? Who attends school one day and then doesn't show up for 2 weeks? We are required to call after day three.
I don't know if this is like a huge like sticks out to you. And I was a public. Well, I was. I don't like saying I was a teacher when I was only a teacher for the short time that I was. But like,
You're a teacher.
but like there. In the beginning, Caprice does state that she goes to Paramore K through 8 charter school, and I'm not gonna crap on charter schools, but they do things a
Oh,
little bit differently. So she was going to a K through 8 center, and and so that's why she was able to go to school for Sean for such a long time, even though it's never really mentioned. But like, there is a difference between how the public school
charter
district handles
schools,
things
right?
and how charter schools handle things. So Caprice went to a charter school, so she was gone for 2 weeks, and kids go in and out of charter schools all the time.
And
And
okay, so
so
is Paramore a real city in Florida?
Paramore is absolutely a real neighborhood. It's not a city though, but it's a
Okay,
neighborhood
okay,
in downtown Orlando. Yeah,
okay,
and
okay,
those schools were based on real schools, but
okay,
yeah, but they don't have the
okay.
same names.
Right. That okay. So that threw me off too. The fact that not threw me off, but I was like, she out of school for 2 weeks. Ain't nobody went and checked on her. But this little 10-year-old goes and knocks on the door and it's like, I got questions and I need answers. I was like, Big
Right.
Sean, I'm gonna love him all through this book because he's like, he was, which I want to say he was an old soul
He
to
absolutely
a
was.
degree. He was an old soul,
He was like,
and
I'm
he was
11
like,
years old. I'm grown.
right, you ain't gonna tell me something is not right. I know something is not right. Sean was checking. I love that about him that he wasn't, and I loved him and his mom's relationship and the way she was teasing him. And then when it said that he was up at 4 in the morning, I was cracking up like, oh, he was really trying to make sure he wasn't gonna miss, he wasn't gonna miss her going to school at all.
No. His mom was confused. Like, the sun's not even out yet.
Right. And who is this kid? Who are you? Who are you? Okay, so let's see. I already said that I was confused with nobody at the school, but you explained that he was a charter school. So Yeah, that's as far as I got with my notes because then I said I was just gonna go from there. Hi Yolanda, how are you this evening? Thank you for joining us. So um we know that Sean and Caprice's relationship grew all through school and then through high school. Even though he became the big man on campus, he still very much looked out for her. And
Hmm.
Princess continued to be the mean girl all through. I mean, just traumatized the poor child all through. Now, this is what pissed me off too. How Gracie wanted Marcel out of her house. She knew he ain't had nowhere to go. He ain't had no money. She didn't know he was selling weed out of her house. But you want him out and you call the police. They raid your house and now you mad at her because you say now all of a sudden she a liar.
Right.
Girl, like, are you serious right now? And abusing this poor child. And so I guess my thoughts are, um, even though it's a charter school, and I'm very familiar with charter schools, like she had to have had issues or seen. You mean to tell me nobody from eighth is I have some 8 year olds. Third grade on up to eighth grade, nobody but the demographic. I gotta keep remembering the demographic, the neighborhood. You see kids like that all the time. And I think even though what year was that? What year did you have that at? 2006, 2007?
She was in high school in 2006, so like her,
Oh, so even before that.
so it was like
We're better now.
1999 to 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, we're a lot better now because I work in a very low demographic area, and I notice the counselors and the social workers be sick of me because if I think something is off, I'm writing it up.
And
We
that's the
going to
kind of
the
teachers that
office.
we need.
I'm a jump ship for a second. I got mad so mad at the school nurse one day. I literally was like, I'm never sending my kids to you again. I'm gonna just call parents on my own because I have a student. He don't never go to sleep. He never goes to sleep. Put his head down. He's sick. He ain't just tired. He's sick. Oh, that sounds like a social work. Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Let me call dad. Dad, come and get him. He's sick. So the slightest thing, but we're better now than we were in 1999 or whatever. So,
I think a lot of people had that like it's none of my business approach to things like that
it's
back in the
and
day.
it's
They
still like
still
that
do.
now.
They still do.
It's still like that now. You're right. You're right, Monique. Gracie knew everything. Gracie knew everything Marcel did. Oh, you think she knew he was selling?
I don't think. Well, I mean, I know she didn't know he was selling because she wouldn't have called the police on him if she knew. But when he got arrested, her mindset did go, well, I wouldn't have called the police on him if Caprice wasn't here. So that's why she kind of blamed Caprice for Marcel's arrest because in her mind, none of that would have happened if not for her.
That's
But she knew everything else. She absolutely did know everything else. But he didn't work, and where was he getting his? I don't see. That's, you got me there. We're getting too deep into it. But like, she didn't know he was selling, but she knew he was an abusive person.
okay. Okay. So it hurt my heart that not only are you abusing her, you're not feeding her, you don't cook, she's struggling, she going. I guess she figures if she had a job, she was feeding herself, not really
That's
paying
what she
attention.
figured.
She's feeding herself. And this poor baby is saving every dime that she has. You walking around with toe up, busted up kids. Like, oh my God. I just felt so bad for her from very beginning, like all the way through.
Oh, that's
Um,
why. That's why you feel like you got scammed because I said up till chapter 5, and it just
yeah,
continued
man,
to
you
be
said up
sad.
until
I'm sorry.
I'm at chapter 28 and I'm like,
Why is this so
wait.
sad?
Yeah, like oh my God. But I get it. I understand. I mean, it lightened up. She wasn't she had suppress the trauma. You know, she
Mhm.
suppressed the trauma. Oh, right. Mimi said when Sean wanted to carry her backpack was cute, and the poor baby was like, "I gotta take a shower and I need wipes." And oh my God, oh yes, you tugged at my heart all the way through. So okay, so let's move forward. Let's fast forward.
Backpack
Let's
scene was
fast
my
forward.
favorite.
I know that was so cute. She was like, "You want my backpack?
You
What you
trying to steal
want
from me?
with it?" No, he just wanted to be a gentleman.
I mean, they were in
So
Paramore. She didn't know.
yeah. See, now you're gonna have me. I probably went through Paramore because I ain't gonna lie. When we go out of town, I be trying to find the hoods. And we
Mm.
went to Orlando one time. We and Devin was driving, and he was like, "Mama, can we go back the other way?" Sure, okay. I just
You
want to see.
you probably have driven through Paramore and not known it because it's right next to like the big city. So like as soon as like the big city stops looking cute, you're in Paramore.
Oh yeah, okay. So we probably went through Paramore because yeah, we went through because then I lucked up on the Magic's training center, and I was like, "Ooh, let me find me a football. I mean, a basketball player around here somewhere." But anyway, that's a story for another day. But so high school. I'm glad she found her voice a little bit in high school, just a little bit, because when she beat the brakes off of Princess, I was rooting for it, and I don't be rooting for kids to fight, but I felt that.
Even
I
Dr.
felt that.
Young was like, "Let me take my
Right.
time."
We have some teachers that be like that. Like sometimes you just kind of
I was like
you hate
that.
you hate you know, don't judge teachers because y'all don't understand sometimes. But when you have a student like Princess and somebody, do something to them, you do kind of take your time and you kind of get up real slow. You sit there, stop, don't do that. Don't do that. But I was like, beat the brakes off of her. And I was hoping she wouldn't get in trouble. I was so hoping
She just got
that
written
she had
out.
worked. Yeah, right. Because Sean was like,
And
"Oh,
Sean
Rhonda."
was like, "That's all."
Even him, he was even like, "Right,
That's that
Rhonda."
favoritism.
That's because she's a hey. When you a good student, it happens like that. It truly happens like that, and I loved every minute of it. Yes, the teacher was rooting for her. Like, right, beat the brakes off of that girl. And then she didn't bother her. Well, at least you didn't write it in there. She didn't bother her no more. And that's all it takes.
Well, well, she wouldn't have bothered her, but like remember, right after that fight is when that weekend that Sean's situation happened, and she left after that. So like that last
Right.
day of school for her was that fight with Princess. So she left Princess with a memory and dipped.
I like that. Teacher graded all the papers before he got it up. I like that. You right. You right. Tell you what else touched my heart too. When she was gonna leave, when she was like, "I'm not." Oh, okay, you had the audacity to bring this man back to your house. Well, of course, because she wanted him back. But I was like, "Are you serious right now?"
But did you notice how she had the audacity to bring this man back to her house, and then she said, "Caprice, cover up because there's men in the house." So she
Exactly.
knows. She
Right.
know well.
She knows he got
Mhm.
issues. And I don't like. I'm like Caprice. I don't wish that on anybody in jail. But karma is bi, and she'll come around, and you know you better you reap what you sow. That's the best way I can say it. You reap what
And you
you
would have thought
sow.
he would have learned his lesson, but
You would.
old habits die hard.
That's because he needs help. He truly needs help, and he's not in a position to get help, and ain't nobody in a position to get him no help because Gracie was in somewhat of denial
Mhm.
herself, and then it may be she couldn't do better because she didn't know no better herself. um your daughter took off and didn't come back. She left for a reason, and all of that good stuff, bad stuff or whatever. But I thought it was so sweet when they were in the bookstore and Sean, gave her the cupcake. He was such a sweetheart. He was
Wasn't
as
he?
such a he was. So I could understand him being okay. I'm not gonna jump there yet. Um, I was scared out to death when he went and got his mama's gun. Okay, wait. At the bus station, let me
Mhm.
change that. When they went to Disneyland, Disney World, which was great. I thought that was so sweet. And hey Ayana.
I actually
Um,
got emotional when I wrote Miss Wallowitz wouldn't take me because you could see that like 8-year-old Caprice was still somewhere in there, and it was just like, oh.
right.
But
Right. But I just love the fact that he was like, we can't. I ain't got no money, and she was like, I got money. This is on me. And
right,
I guess I missed the point that she was like ready to have her last hurrah. It's like a light bulb went off in my head too, same as Sean's when as it was written. Wait a minute,
but why
why
she
if
bring
you
her
did
backpack?
what she bring her backpack for if she's skipping school? And I just knew she was going to get on this bus and I was like, no, no, she's gonna get on the bus and leave. And I was like getting ready to cry. And he's standing back there crying. I was like, oh my God. So when she got off the bus and ran to him, I was like, yes.
I
But then
had
I
I
was
had a
scared. Then I
reader.
got scared.
Right. But I had a reader who messaged me when she was at that scene. She was like, why did you play with my feelings like that by making her get on the bus and get off the bus? And literally, like, my answer was I just wanted to be dramatic and have a running hug scene. And that's literally it. But I love that scene too.
Yeah, somebody that's Ayana saying that was the sweetest um when they went to Disney that day and yeah, everything was fun. She wanted to have one last day of fun. But then I
Right.
thought, where now if she gets off this bus, if she gets on that bus, where is she going?
She's got to go
Where
home.
is she going? Yes, very much so. Very much so. It was very powerful picturing him watching her get on the bus stop. Yes, very, very, very so. I'm telling you, Millie, when you can tap into every emotion, god damn, like I needed some rom com after I read that, but I couldn't jump into rom com. I can't tell you what I'm reading right now because that's my special guest for next week. So but yeah, I was like, damn, I don't went from one deep to another deep to another deep. So, but I thought that was great. And then when he had his aha moment, my heart broke for him. It's like he knew something was wrong. He knew something had happened to her. He's been protecting her all of this time. But when he had his aha moment and he was determined she was going to tell him the truth, you're not going to slip by and do that thing that you
Mm-mm.
do, them crocodile tears, as much as I'm going to drop them too, you're going to tell me what the deal is. What the deal
Right.
is.
And I
I
thought it
thought
was
it was
important. I thought it was important for her to hit, well, to beat up Princess for him to realize, wait, hold on, she can protect herself against her grandmother, so something else has to be wrong. I needed it to make sense when like
it did.
when he figured
It
it out.
did. Especially when she was saying I didn't want him to. And that's what, got him to saying you didn't want who to do what.
Right.
So when he got that gun, I was hoping he would just tell his mama, you know. Um but I was mad that um and I ain't gonna lie, it wasn't a trigger for me. It just brought back a memory. The whole cigarette and burning a hole in her shirt, that brought back a memory to me of something that happened to me when I was a child from some older cousins just being mean and jealous. I don't want to call it jealousy, just being mean
Bullies.
older cousins. Yeah, and that almost put a rift in our family. Like it really did. My mother was like, I ain't never coming over here again. And it was my grandmother's sister's children and my aunt, who was one of my favorite aunts. She was crushed and hurt. She couldn't believe that her children would do something, like that. And it's like, oh Lord. And I was almost the same way as Caprice. Like my mother was just giving me while I was taking a bath and I asked her to wash my back and she saw it and was like, okay, wait a minute. You ain't been
What's
nowhere but
that?
to here. So I could totally, I don't want to say it was a trigger. It didn't send me into where I need to go talk to a counselor and all of that. We as family members, you realize people are just, teenagers and they do stupid stuff. It could have went a different way, but it didn't. So I'm fine. I didn't need therapy or nothing like that.
I'm happy to hear that.
Later on, it just, but you have not realized how you suppress bad things that have happened to you
Hmm.
as a child. But I'm glad that Miss Kelly um jumped into action. I was so scared that Sean I really thought he was gonna kill him and then he was gonna end up in jail. That's what I really thought. I thought he was gonna kill
Yeah.
him because he did not think it all the way through. Okay, so Sean, after you kill a man in his house, now what you gonna do? What you gonna
Right.
do
Like
then?
I think that that speaks to, like, it reminds the reader at that point in time that Sean is a child. Like, he did just turn 18, but he was very much still in that teenager, like, not really thinking things through, no apprehensions type of thing. Cause like there is like a part of me that also was like, he should have told his mother, but Monique just said that's the man in him that stood up, and I think that's how Sean felt as well. Like, he
Right,
didn't want to run to his mom, he wanted to handle it
right,
himself, and I think that that's why he did it. But like the reader, I wanted to point out how much of a dumb decision it was with his mother, like ripping into him in the in the hospital room when she was like, "You didn't think this through. Like, you could have gotten in so much trouble." Because like it was a dumb decision. It was like there was nothing. It was noble, but it was super stupid.
right, right. Very much so. And then I felt bad for Miss Sylvia in the hospital. I mean, in when she was like, I lost her too. I lost her too. You know, if you had told me, you didn't give me a chance to
Helper.
save her or do anything. Miss Sylvia, I loved her when she did her hair. Um, when she was just there for them, she was like rooting them on all the way through. And then it comes out that that's her friend's daughter, and they were good friends when they were younger.
It's
So,
like full
um,
circle.
yeah, full circle. I thought that was really great.
I had
And then
a
I felt so bad for him when she was just gone. But then I get it that Miss I love Miss Kelly afterwards. It's like I was mad at her, and then I love Miss Kelly because she was like, "Nah, Bi, no, I'm coming in. You gonna tell me where she is, and we gonna get her up out of here." And then when she
right.
backhanded her, I was like, "Yes,
I like
yes."
the I like writing the scene where she was like putting her hair in a ponytail. Like, she was getting ready. Like, if I have to fight you, I absolutely will.
Right, right. I was like, "Get it, Miss. Don't play with Miss Kelly." Because you said she was kind of hippie-ish or whatever. It don't matter. You can catch these
Mm-mm.
hands. You gonna
Mm-mm.
catch these hands? Yep. Miss Kelly popped up with them. Who is that?
I think that is
I knew
Ayana.
something's. No, that's Sharon. She said I knew something good was coming when Miss Kelly popped up. Yes, you wasn't gonna shoot Miss Kelly away like you shooed Sean away all them
Right. That's
years.
a grown person.
Right. I love the fact when Miss Kelly backhanded her. I was like, get it. And then she went to Dr. Johnson, and I was like, I completely. Although I felt for Sean that it had been all those years of separation from them, she needed that. He might
She
not have fully
absolutely did.
understood that, but she definitely needed to. That I'm glad he came full circle toward the end when he was like he would not have been. He would have been able to protect her to a degree.
But he wouldn't have been able to help her heal that
He
way.
would no, he wouldn't have been able to, and that's what
Mm.
she needed. I
And
hate that.
I wanted to point that out, like in the writing, because I think a lot of times in romance, like people act like, oh, once you find love, your life is fixed. And I wanted to point out that Sean loved her, but he couldn't help her, not the way that
Right,
a mental health professional could.
right. Um, I love the fact that she went to school and became a doctor. I loved the center that she made. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna sound sick, but Moreau. I meant to ask you to say their names for me before we got on here.
Mm.
The split personalities.
Oh, so there's Coffee,
I,
Moreno, and Marin.
I loved Coffee, his little sweet self,
He's so
and
sweet.
Moreno and Marin. I was like, you're
Marin is
not
my
supposed to laugh.
favorite.
You're not supposed to laugh at split personalities, but it
But no,
was like,
it was written to be a little bit like, because even Caprice was thinking to herself like, what the hell? But like
right,
it was, she was like, I know this little boy did not just check me.
right.
Um,
Like when you tell me your story, I'll tell you ours. And then when the other one came and crossed his leg and was like, I hear everything he says. like, oh Lord, this
Her hands
is
were full. She'd never had a psychotherapy patient before, and then she got three. So,
right, right. And which one was it when she was like, "Why are you doing this to us? Why are you doing it?" When she had to ask the hard questions. I was like, I enjoyed that scene. I mean, I enjoyed all. I hate that Coffee's poor little character had to go through that, but I love that she found her voice. She found her healing to a degree. I had to chuckle when she was like, "So I'm not fixed." No, baby, you learn to deal day by day with your trauma, but no, you're not fixed.
mm-mm.
I think too, going back to the nursing home to talk to her grandmother, um, helped as well. Like Dr. Johnson said, her at that point, her mom said, you need to get that bully image out of your head. She's not
Right.
she wasn't as strong as you think she was. I think if and it wouldn't have done the story justice, but if Caprice had raised up on her one good time, Gracie would have backed up. But she was very respectful because I'm living in this woman's house. She's giving me a place to lay my head. She really ain't taking care of me, but I still have an inkling of respect because she is my mother. And as soon as I get
Hmm.
the chance, I'm gonna get the hell up out of here. But until I'm biding my time, so I'm gonna respect
Right.
you while I'm biding my time um, here. And Alzheimer's patients, it's funny. From what I know and what I've experienced, the mean ones become when they're mean the majority of their life. When
Hmm.
they get dementia and Alzheimer's, it could go two ways. They can generally they become mild and a little bit meek, and that seems the direction that you took the grandmother in,
Not
Gracie
only
in when she was.
not
Go
only
ahead.
that, but like she thought that at first that Caprice was her daughter, and there
Right.
was a bit of a guilty conscience that she was harboring, like towards what she did to Caprice in the
Mm-hmm.
face of her daughter. And so that's kind of why she approached the situation where it was like, I know I messed up, but are you mad at me? And yeah.
Yeah. And then you're gonna start screaming when you know it ain't her. Girl, bye. I was sitting there like this. I was reading like, girl, bye. You just don't
But
want to deal with it no more.
I thought it was important to put that scene in there because like the entire story in the first two acts you see that well no it's just the second act. Gracie would play these like say it Caprice games like where she would force Caprice to say things, and I just
Right.
wanted Caprice to do it to her one time where she was like say it Gracie, and I mean it was satisfying for me to write.
And she did it. And when she told her, say it. Say it. Good. Good. Yeah. Not that she wanted nobody to abuse the elderly. And she didn't touch her because when they came, she was like, I ain't touched her. I didn't
Hmm.
even get close to her. We just having a conversation. We just having a conversation. So
Right.
yeah, those split personalities, they were funny and scary
Right.
at the same time. Um that's some sick, twisted. Did you research that, Millie?
Research which.
The twistedness of them foster parents against coffee.
No, but like I figured, well, okay, so I was doing lots of things with this story. So like with Caprice being a female abuse victim, I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to both show that abusers could be both male and female, and that
Mm-hmm.
abuse victims could be both male and female. And so I was able to do that for Caprice's character, to show that a victim could be female and the abuser could be male. And then for Coffee's character, the victim could be male and the abuser could be female. But in that case, like she was also doing it with her husband. And I know
Right.
that
I'm
like
like, these are some sick, twisted folks. Lord have mercy.
and I was just kind of like,
As a
well,
Like, how does two sick people like that get together and like really?
you heard about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell? They were apparently that kind of couple. So,
You're right. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
so
Um, I love the dynamic of coffee. Uh, Sean, I was like, Sean, you weren't an asshole, but who takes an engagement ring and throw it at somebody and say, let's get married? Like,
I it's like
dude.
he didn't put effort into it because he didn't really care. He was just like, I just need to have this baby for my mom and for me, like secondarily. But like he didn't go about it the right way, which is why he hired Sana or Sana.
Where is she? She from another story?
She
Why
is
does she who
Sana is Kane's sister.
I kept saying I need to go back to the Collide series and look and
Right.
see. But wait a minute, which sister? Because he had a,
She was his
not the.
oldest, not the oldest, but the one who was older than Sierra. She was the nice one, the one who found Lauren in his room the morning after the party, and she was like, "Oh, what did y'all get into last night?" She was the only one of his sisters who was kind of like rooting for Lauren and Kane, and it was kind of like
But
funny
you
to watch.
said she had a trauma too, so I was. That's what was throwing me off. Like, is she the sister? Because then there was a sister that got mad at him because her boyfriend got
No, so remember in book two when Kane was really sad about I forgot his name and I wrote him Amir's
his
death.
friend,
Right. He
right?
was really sad about Amir's death. And so like he goes to visit but first his sisters, then his friends, or either it's his friends and then his sisters. He goes to visit his friends and then he goes to visit his sisters after the funeral. And
Mm-hmm.
after the funeral, Sanaa tells Kane, like, hey, I lost a best friend when I was in college, and that was her trauma. She lost her best
Okay.
friend right before her freshman year. And Caprice
Okay.
mentioned that in the third act as well.
Right. And that's what made me. That's when I started thinking this name sounds so dang on familiar.
I thought like most readers would have gotten it when Sanaa said to Sean, "I'm a Montgomery and this is Miami."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I mean, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking this is Kane's sister, but I wanted to go back, and I just didn't have time. I wanted to go back to the Collide series and verify it, like, but I couldn't. I didn't have time. But I knew the name
Right.
sounded so totally familiar. And then she was bougie, and she was rich, and there was something else. There was something else that made me think I've read about this chick before.
Party
It was one of
planner,
the things.
an event
Yeah, the
planner.
party planner, but then the description of her house as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this was like. That's when I really had the aha moment. Like, yeah, that's her. That's her. I said, but I'm gonna ask Millie to make sure, so I don't think I'm crazy because
Right.
you be reading so
So she
much.
was in the Collide series, but a lot of people didn't actually catch that. They were like, "Oh, this she just reused the name." It's like, no, I didn't. It's the
No,
same person.
no, because no, because you put well, of course, Garden of Eden is what's the thing, sister. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's on their label and all of that. So yeah, um, that doesn't bother me at all. But I love that they didn't get along. The
They
banter
kind of
between the two of
they
them,
they bickered like siblings. It was like they were
right?
like brother and
And
sister almost.
and the way Sean was like, it was grinding his damn gears, and she kept calling Caprice her best friend. It's like she ain't your best friend. Say you
Right.
ain't her best friend. So yeah, I felt so bad that he went as long as he did, sad, living his life but utterly unhappy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then his mother to have to deal with her cancer scare and all of that. I felt bad that I didn't feel bad that Caprice was able to move on and get the healing and the help that she needed and able to blossom to a degree because she still had issues. She still didn't want people to really um, touch her and um, and all of that kind of stuff. But I was happy for her, but then I felt bad for him
Mm-hmm.
because you really could have wrote him where he just turned into an asshole. He was like, could have been like screw love all the way around.
I
But I
tried
think
to, but then it just didn't. It
it wasn't
didn't. It
him.
wasn't. It really wasn't
No,
like
it wasn't.
like when I wrote that scene where he threw the engagement ring at Ariel, I was like this I was like this is so not Sean, but it also is at that point because he's just kind of like whatever about that particular relationship. But I think
Hmm.
that a lot of people saw the way that Sean felt and they were like, well, he wasn't hard enough on Caprice. Like when they finally got back together, like he was way too easy on her. And I was just kind of like, with everything that Caprice went through, the last thing that I wanted her to deal with was like an ain't-ish type of dude. And so like Sean had to be forgiving because I feel like Caprice deserved that. Just she just deserved it. I wasn't about to continue to write more trauma for her, but
And that's
for
not
me,
in him for their relationship.
right,
Like
right,
her pain, he can.
is his
I mean,
pain.
right? He couldn't stand to see her cry. His nose would get red, and he'd cry even as a grown ass man when she
Hmm.
was hurting. So there was no way. I would have been like, why Millie do that to that boy? Like, why did she do him like that? If you had made him
Mm-mm.
into
It
a
wasn't
total
him.
jerk.
Like even the way he broke up with Ariel, like I thought it was very on character for him. Like it was like you deserve better,
I kind of
and
thought
it's
she
not
was gonna
me.
come back, like, I thought she was gonna be an issue, but I'm glad
Mm-mm.
she wasn't. I'm glad she wasn't, because some women are psycho. If I get out this car, I ain't coming back. Yeah, okay. As soon as you see him with her, you coming back. So I caught the foreshadow. Let me see, Mimi. That's Mimi. Foreshadow Caprice on the boat, named Caprice. Yeah, I caught that too. Yeah, when I was like, oh, that's who's.
I love.
Oh, I thought Homegirl was gonna show up. Ariel was gonna show up on the boat too, on the yacht too.
Mm, no, I mean I think Ariel like if I can be like very blunt, I based Ariel's like my image of her was someone who's very much like Gabrielle Union. That's like if you pay attention to the name, like Ariel Underwood. It's like anyways, but like but I was like, what would Gabrielle Union do? Gabrielle Union is not about to make a fool out of herself for this guy. I mean, she let me stop. But like I was like in my mind, Ariel would have rose above that jealous woman anger, and that's what she did.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay. I don't think he was hard on her. He needed that time to grow up and heal as well. Well,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's true too. That's true too. Oh wait, I didn't even do that. But um, I'm glad that it worked out. I kind of knew. And I saw the writing on the wall. When that she was gonna want coffee. I knew she was gonna get. I just knew that. I knew her and Sean. I saw that. I saw that, and I was gonna be mad if it didn't happen that way. I was gonna be mad. But I
When
was just
Sean asked
laughing.
her if that was his child, like I was like, now
Oh,
he
that was
absolutely is,
hilarious.
because he was ready. He was ready. Like if this is my kid, then let's do this. But I mean,
But I laughed at the way she was laughing. Like, you're so full of yourself, dude. No, well, he's 10, and he's 9 or whatever, and it's been 10 years, and so the math does add up. And I was like,
it did.
yeah, the math does add up. It did add up. It did add up. But
And he was like,
I'm
he's a
glad
good
I'm glad it didn't
basketball
go that
player.
way. Right. That was cute when he was like, "Is he mine?" But I had to laugh. I was scared that when Coffee said, "Y'all putting me out. Y'all throwing me out. Y'all. I'm getting evicted. Y'all putting
He was.
me out."
She was like, "We do not use the word evicted," but he's like, "I'm
Right.
sorry, discharged."
And then I kind of got on edge, like, oh my God, is one of them, Marin or Monroe, is one of them going to come out, because that he when he's uncomfortable, but he wasn't uncomfortable, he was pissed. So there was a
Right,
difference in being uncomfortable and being pissed off. Like, man, y'all get ready to pull me out of here. Look, on Christmas, on top of that, what kind of
right.
foolishness? What kind of foolishness is this? And then when the whole suitcase, and he was just like, yeah, okay.
You're like, thanks, I guess.
Right. Oh, somebody said, oh, Monique said she got happy when they were gonna be reunited.
Which point was
Oh
that? Was
yes,
it?
I was happy on this part too because she was nervous. She was so
Oh.
scared that Miss Sylvia was gonna be mad at her because that last day, she felt responsible for what Sean had what he had done to try to do to
Hmm.
Marcel. So yeah, I get that. I
And I
get
feel
that. If you
like
guys go ahead.
I feel like it was important for it to be stated that Miss Sylvia was in the camp where, like, even though Sean was her son, she was never one of those people who felt like Caprice owed him anything.
Right.
And so, like, she was scared that, like, Miss Sylvia would hate her for what she did to Sean, and Miss Sylvia was like, "You're your own person." And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And she knew at that point, she knew that she had been traumatized and she needed, and she had faith that, I'm sorry, y'all, something is, I don't know if it's these doggone bangs or something that's gotten in my eye. But I think she believed wholeheartedly that they would come back around full circle. I just
Hmm.
hated that Caprice, her emotions was still always so raw and she was still carrying guilt. But that's just natural when you feel like something is your fault, no matter of all the healing that you was doing.
Oh, Monique said that the reunion that she was talking about was around the part where Sana was preparing the yacht for the reproposal. Yeah, I love
Oh,
that
she's out
scene
there,
too. When, like, her
and she's
and
out there
Sean
with
get
her
into that
tatas
fight.
hanging all out. Yeah, she's
But,
out
like,
there on
Sean
his yacht.
Sean and Sana get into that fight, and then, like, she just casually, like, drops, like, and also my best friend has the same name as your boat, and we could have laughed about this, but you are an a-hole. And that's when he realizes, like, oh snap, like, your friend has the same name as my boat. How many caprices could there be in Miami? And so
And he was like, "Yeah, she walking around getting tacos, and she's supposed to be decorating this boat."
he rubbed his stomach. He was like, "Give me a taco, boss is hungry."
And then when he was playing with her money, like, "Give me the phone number, and I give you your money."
She
They
cussed
were
him
just,
out.
they were
She
just
cussed
hilarious.
him out. She said, "Your whole ugly ass government name." Because, like, I mentioned in the first act that Sean's middle initial was B, but you don't find out what it stands for until Sana drags him. She's like,
True,
Bernard is.
true, true. I love her. I mean, I enjoyed her character. I enjoyed her character. I'm so glad that it came full circle. I'm glad. I like the way you did the epilogue as well. I really
Yeah,
like that.
I
That
love
that
that.
was twofold. I don't think I've seen an epilogue done. I have. I'm not saying it hasn't been done before. I'm saying Jocelyn has not seen it done that way before. I haven't come across a book where you break it down into two parts, basically.
Mhm.
She
So you
deals
get
with the
both of
wedding.
their.
You're right. And then 5, 6 months later, they get married and they go on their honeymoon and she ends up pregnant like they. No, let me back up.
I actually did that with Garden of Eden. There was a two-part epilogue in that book too.
I drew a.
Because remember
Oh,
the
yes, yes.
the Grammys, and then at her
Right,
mother's house in
right,
Andrew's point of
right,
view.
right. That's that you did. You did.
Mhm.
See, maybe that's a Millie signature thing.
It's my
Um,
thing.
it's funny, but it's not funny. Because she's so sweet and so innocent. And when they for the first time they had sex, and she asked him, "Was it broke? Was
It was when
everything
she
working
was
down there?"
16. She was, like,
Yeah,
worried about that. She was worried about that. Like,
but
is
that
it
just lets you
broken?
see the abuse that Gracie. Not only was she verbally abusive and um physically abusive to her, she was not taking care of that child's needs. She didn't take her to the doctor, any of that kind of stuff. By 16,
Mm-mm.
you have been to, at least you should have had at least one OBGYN
Mm-hmm.
visit because your body is constantly
Changing.
changing. So, I felt bad for her. She had never been like, you didn't even go take her to the doctor to get healed after what
She
that
didn't
could have
want
been
anybody to
very,
know.
very damaging. Right, right. I get that, but that could have been that trauma could have gone
Lasting
so
effects.
very, very much lasting effects. They laughing at his middle name being Bernard. So, um, as we begin to wrap up, if you guys have any questions, as always, go ahead and throw a question in the chat box for Millie. If you have any, if it's something that I missed that I didn't touch on, and I always think of stuff like I'll be downstairs getting me something to eat later, and be like, damn, I didn't bring up this, and damn, I didn't think about that. But um, I was sitting here taking so many notes, it was like, you know what, just let it fly off the cuff. It's always, excuse me, better that way. So, is there any? I know this is a standalone. Will we see them again or hear about them again in any future stories? Will we get any updates on all the children that they plan since they got everything planned out that they plan to have?
So
That you're willing to share. I don't want to put you on the spot. If you're not willing to share, don't tell
no, no,
us
I'm
nothing.
willing to share. I'm always willing to share. Um, the book that I'm supposed to be writing right now is taking me a little bit longer to kind of get into because I started writing the Valentine's Day novella for Sean and Caprice, and I miss these characters so much. So I'm supposed to be writing about Morgan and Damien, but I'm over here like, ooh, this would be a really cute scene for Sean and Caprice and Coffee. So like I'm working on Coffee and so it's a Valentine's Day short. So of course you've got Sean and Caprice in here, but Coffee at this point is 14 years old in the Valentine's Day novella, and he's got a crush, and you kind of see like a mirroring of like, do you remember the Sean and his mother dynamic where like she's giving him
Mm-hmm.
advice on how to get girls? And so like you
Mm-hmm.
see that with Sean and Coffee where he's like, well, you got to do this and you can't say that. And so that's been really fun to write because Coffee has a crush on a girl. I don't know how much of like I can like, well, she's got vitiligo, and so like that's kind of like his like the dilemma is she gets made fun of in school and Coffee's like, oh, I'm gonna have to fight everybody, and Sean is like, don't tell your mom I said this, but yes, you absolutely do. And so it's been really fun writing it, but I it's distracting me from what I'm actually
Okay.
supposed to be doing, but but it's been fun. Oh, I love
Yes,
the
that
yacht
was.
scene when the
No.
bill came.
Oh, she said, and the night on the yacht. Oh yeah, when the bill came. Yeah, I thought that was funny too. And she was like, I think, wait a minute, draw a blank. I would have been like, oh, you know what? On second thought,
That's exactly what she did.
but we
She
wouldn't
was
even had a
like,
conversation. He wouldn't even had to say nothing to me. I would have just been like, oh, let me close this. You know what? You got this. You got it. All on you, bruh. All on
Sean was
you.
like, that's what I thought.
Right.
But no, the yacht scene is so funny because I was actually still on Act Two when I wrote the yacht scene. So like I knew that there was gonna be a reunion scene, but I hadn't written anything up until that point. So like I think I was in the bookstore scene when I wrote the yacht scene, and so I knew I had to include a bunch of like, because the yacht scene ends with Sean saying, "Go ahead and ask me to choose," and so like it's a callback from stuff from Act Two, but the only
Right.
reason it is because I knew I was gonna write that, so that
Okay.
was really fun. That was really fun. I
I
love
thought
the
that was
yacht
sweet
scene.
too. Then when she was like, he changes girlfriends, they never stick around. And no, I don't want to be your girlfriend because they never stick around. And I thought that was cute the way he explained that to her. So besides the novella that we'll be looking forward to, we won't see that until Valentine's.
Hmm.
Um, you got to focus on these other characters. Are these
Hmm.
characters that we've met before?
Yes. Well, you haven't met Damien, but he is the F in Field Centers, Damien Fine. So like he's the
Right.
benefactor,
You
and
did say that. I was good.
uh,
You did say that. Okay.
And then like his love interest is Morgan, who is Lauren's twin sister, the sassy one, who is like kind of a bit of a handful. And so like they kind of have this like agreement going. And Morgan is not exactly the most easy to will to your to bend to your will type of person. And so it's been exciting writing a domineering character who can't dominate this particular person. And so there's that. And then right after that I have another one. But I don't want to talk about that one yet because it's too far away.
Then don't, because you know us fans, we'll be. It could be a year, 2 years. So remember when you had that chat and you said you was gonna do? So what happened to that
Right,
third book you was talking about? And you be like,
right.
"What are you talking about?" I
The way that
understand.
I
I
handled the
understand.
Garden of Eden taught me to never give concrete dates out ever again. Because I said the Garden of Eden was supposed to come out October of 2018, and then it came out December of 2019. So yeah, it was a year and 2 months late. So I don't talk about dates anymore.
I I understand because life happens.
Right.
And fans tend to hold you. You said such and such and such and such, so I'm expecting it to be here on this day.
Sharon says Morgan needs somebody strong. Oh, she gets somebody strong.
And you know what? With nothing more than Mr. Fine being mentioned as a benefactor, I swear it's like I can't wait to read. I can't wait to read about this man. Like, and I felt like I've heard that name before, but I don't want to. I can't recall. I can't recall, and maybe I haven't. You know, when you read so much. So, what does that say? The song. Oh, y'all
I
know I
Choose
can't.
You by Mario.
Oh,
For Sean and Caprice. Um, I've never heard that song. I'm gonna have to listen to it later.
me too. Now I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me pull that up. Let me pull that up. So, Millie, I thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you
you
for
coming
having me.
on. Um, this evening. I really appreciate you taking your Friday evening. My diehards, I thank you all for coming and listening to me ramble on again. I really enjoyed this book. Um, I don't have a giveaway for today. Sorry, y'all. I'm back to work and I don't have time to be running to the post office. That's not the reason why y'all don't have a giveaway. I just don't have a I don't have anything to give away right now. And I cannot tell you who my special guest is for next week. You'll have to I might be able to, I don't know. If I do, I don't know if I can share right now. But I will be back next Friday with a very special guest. Um, so I want to thank you all. If nobody else has any questions, and if you don't have anything else to share with the group, Millie, I truly, truly, truly appreciate everything. I
Thank
appreciate
you
you
for
spending your
having
Friday
me.
with me. You're welcome. And if you came late or you missed it, it will be up on YouTube one day this week, next week. It'll be up one day next week. I'll get it up there. Let me see. Oh, this discussion was. Oh, let me drop that up there real quick. Thank you, Monique. I appreciate that. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Monique. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you. And welcome to all of the new people that wanted to be in here because I was talking to Millie. So since you in here in our group, now you got to stay and you got
Thank
to
you, Sharon.
participate. And you got to participate. And any authors that we have in here that caught on, Arthur Tuesday. Share your work on Tuesday. Old authors, new authors, it does not matter. You can share old work. We got new readers in here. Feel free to drop your work on Arthur Tuesday. I want to thank my admins for being in here this evening. I appreciate you guys. And you all have a lovely weekend. Hold on.